What up, world? Welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always, on all podcast platforms, Brandon Janeau Show, social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, like always, YouTube channel, man, Brandon Janeau Show, man. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So I've done this a couple times. I think I've done it with can't remember. I did it on Jada and Will, and I've done it on Cat Williams, Kevin Hart. Um, where I kind of like take a story and I just talk about it and how I feel about it, and I've kind of, you know, just pretty much, you know, just give my point of view on it, and this is point of view of random shit. So, I take a topic and I just talk about it. And so tonight is what's been going on recently with with Diddy. Again, I'm talking from a perspective of mine. So I can't speak on everybody else's. I speak from my perspective. So, let's get into it, man. So it's a lot of shit that's going on. I've kind of talked about what's been going on with Diddy here and there. The Cassie lawsuit. And since then he's been getting sued uh, more and more recently, from women, men. Like he's been getting sued by a lot of fucking people. For sexual assault, sexual harassment, stuff like that. And how do I feel about this shit? Um, Look, I'm not a fan of Diddy. I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie. Uh, I'm not a fan of that nigga. Not at all. Not even close. Um, he truly is one of those, separate the art from the person type of people. Whereas you have to separate the art, and the art is Bad Boy, early Mary J. Blige, early Jodeci. You know what I'm saying? He gave us Biggie, he gave us Faith Evans, 112, making it in a band, shit like that. Like he gave us a lot of that, in his career. But this is where you separate the art, and that's the art. Whereas for the person, listen, man, we've all heard stories about Diddy for years. It's not like this shit is new to any of us that really know. If you listen to music and you follow shit, we've all heard these stories about this nigga. Alleged stories about this dude. Like, we ain't fucking, this isn't that. Are we really this fucking surprised? Like, that this shit is happening the way it's happening? Now, some people could say this is karma or his comeuppance or whatever the case may be. But for what this man has always kind of came off as, you kind of felt like it would one day be his undoing. And this is kind of what it feels like, that it is now becoming his undoing. There's a lot of stories that's been coming out recently about the dude. I was on TikTok today and I saw a woman, you know, post a clip of another woman who was in the club the night in the 1990s when the shots rung out. And I remember, you know, when this happened. I remember being a kid and hearing Diddy got arrested and Jennifer Lopez and everybody got arrested, and hearing that Sean took the charge for it. And we were like, damn. And Sean took he took an extended period of time in prison for this shit. And watching the video of the woman that was watching, had like a split screen shit for the other woman. And she was like, yo, I was in that club in the 90s. Like, I was in that club when that shit happened. I was telling doctors, everybody before I went under for the surgery to get fragments out my face, out my nose. I was telling them that Diddy did this shit. Like, like what? And then she said, well, he paid off everybody. He paid off the doctors, he paid off the hospital, he paid off the lawyers, paid off everyone. She said you can even find it in court docs. Like, what? Am I surprised that he did it? Fuck no. If he actually did it, if he allegedly did it, I would never be surprised. Never be surprised that he did that shit because he's one of those people that would do some shit like that. He seems like a person that would manipulate a situation to benefit himself, and that's why I kind of don't fuck with them type of celebrities, man. Cause and that must mean I don't like Hollywood pretty much, and I don't. Cause them type of people will always try to, uh, manipulate the situation, and I don't like those type of people in my personal life. I don't like them people at all. But you see that, you hear that story, would you be surprised? Fuck no. I've always felt, and this is again, this is me. I've always felt that Diddy had something to do with Biggie being murdered. I've always felt that. I've always felt Diddy had something to do with Biggie being murdered. I've always felt that. Now, again, do I think he did it? Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. If you especially know, and that's another video I saw on TikTok where you today that I saw, which was somebody was talking about the dude, and it was like Biggie was about to leave Bad Boy, which if you hear stories now, but even then you kind of heard stories of the commission. Biggie was talking about the commission a lot at the end of his run with Bad Boy. If you listen to Ready to Life After Death, every other song he'll talk about the commission on the song. The commission was his shit. That was his label. That was like Nas's The Farm. That was his The Farm. So do I believe that he would have left Bad Boy? Fuck it, right, he would have left Bad Boy. Especially if you find out that Biggie wasn't getting paid. There's a lot of shit that Diddy has done. That's one of those things that this man doesn't pay his fucking people. And the dumbest shit is when I saw people still trying to defend that shit and be like, "Well, they signed the contract, bro." When you in your 20s in the 90s and this dude is already got it made, pretty much. And on top of that, nigga, you come from the hood. You don't have no lawyers. You don't have nobody you can get in touch with to go look over a contract. Like at that time of music too, there was none of that shit. But the fact that this nigga has never really paid his artists allegedly. But when you have Mace and people come out literally vehemently and continuously say, "Bro, this nigga don't pay us. This nigga's never paid us. This nigga's been using." You had people literally say that this man has been using Biggie's legacy for what? I'm 30 years old now. I was what, two when Biggie? No, three when Biggie passed. 97. So I was 3 years old when Biggie passed. You've been using this man's legacy for 27 fucking years. You now starting to pay royalties to his family and shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Biggie was 24 when he passed. 24, bro. You have used his name longer than this man was alive. There's a lot of things you hear about Diddy, and we just chalk it under the like, well, that's Diddy. Like, no, nigga. Like, I don't know, nigga. And then now there's this new shit that's going on with him, and now there's new shit that's going on with him. The allegations that's going on with him, and that's another one. That's another thing that you've been. You know, we've always heard how Diddy has these parties in the Hamptons and and all this shit. And we just, first of all, Hollywood particularly, when you start seeing multiple Hollywood people in one party, all dressed in white, like they are in heaven, like they're gods, sums up. But Diddy was was you know the the biggest name of this, and he used to throw parties in the Hamptons. I remember always hearing about people talking about the Diddy parties in the Hamptons, and it's like that's some crazy shit. For now, these parties to be seen as like, oh, he was using these parties to allegedly, you know, sexually assault or harass people. I've always said if Biggie doesn't pass, if Biggie doesn't get killed, we look at Biggie like Jay Z, and we look at Diddy like Dame Dash. Diddy's legacy, for whatever it has been, it's been tied more so to the demise of more people than anything. Diddy has had a legacy that, even in its greatest times, has always been questioned. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit how many Ciroc bottles you've sold. I don't care how many times you sat there and lied to my people and told them how much you love black people. But then most of your artists, who, by the way, are black, you don't pay. And we know you don't pay. And here's how fucking crazy this is. A year ago, when he was starting to do that Buddy Love shit, and he dropped the Love album, this man literally went out and sold and gave all of his artists their rights and their catalogs back. Now that's something that's commendable. If you already wasn't alleged not paying them for fucking damn near 20, 30 fucking years, and then on top of the fucking shit, you wait till this album is about to drop and then send these things to these people, and then just before you can drop the album, one of your former artists, Aubrey O'Day, on Danity Kane, who was on Making It a Man, she comes out and says, "Oh, yeah, I saw the contract. He tried to give me the catalog back that I and my royalties for the catalog and everything. But also in that contract, he also had in there was you can never speak bad or ill about Bad Boy or Sean Diddy Combs or the family of the Combs family ever again." And she said, "I never signed that shit." What is going on right now with Diddy? And now you're roping in other people, which is why I wanted to do this, because this is a bigger thing. Diddy's been on the top of the mountain for 30 fucking years. He's been at the top of the mountain for 30 fucking years. The Cassie situation opened the door up, not just for Diddy, but for the music industry. There's a lot of people that's about to get tied into this shit that maybe we never thought would get tied into this shit. Like today, Meek Mill and Usher and all these other people, Stevie J and all these other people that's been getting tied into this shit because of Diddy. And it's more. Oh, I bet money it's more. Oh, I bet money is more people. I would not be surprised. Favorites, people that you love, might be getting dragged into this shit. because Diddy is a gatekeeper. That word, gatekeeper. Diddy is a gatekeeper. That's what he is. Diddy has found ways to monetize over plenty of people in situations for 30 years. This is bigger than just Diddy situation right now. Like I just said, Meek Mill is fighting for his life right now on social media. I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's kind of like funny. Meek Mill is fighting for his life right now on social media because he is getting roped into this shit. And like I said, a lot of people started. This is not just one. This is many. This is Diddy's the beginning. But once he finally gets to a point where he can't uh, defend himself, I see a lot of people getting taken down, and that's where the conversation really starts up because who is going to be hit next? It's allegations. You can sue people to the day you can sue Diddy over and over again, but until he actually has to go into court, has to be put on trial, and have to face his situations. This is all for fucking that. But at the same time, like I said, you don't hear stories like this for 25, 30 years about one person and you just ignore it. This is the thing about like the Harvey Weinsteins and, you know, and all of them because this is the equivalent of that, of a Harvey Weinstein, where he was the gatekeeper for so many people in Hollywood when it came to movies. Diddy is the gatekeeper for so many people in music. And I don't know how many people are going to be taken down, but it's going to be a lot. And like I said, that's where the conversation really kicks up. The legacy of Diddy has always been a little bit tarnished. It's always been a little side eye to how he became so popular after Biggie's death. You mourn his death you know, in the public. But what if we find out that you're the reason why he's gone in the private. You made ways to end this man's life, allegedly. Now we have a problem. Like I've always said, Diddy's legacy has always been a little shaky because as great as he, no, I would say it's great, but but for what his legacy has been, it's always been side-eyed. You wouldn't have any of that shit if it wasn't for Biggie. Yes, you were already at Uptown Records doing your thing, but you also got fired because of the way you was moving at Uptown Records. We forget this shit. Then he got fired by Andre Harrell. He got fired. Andre Harrell felt like, nigga, you doing a little bit too much. You doing a little bit too much. Chill, nigga. And then he got fired. Starts Bad Boy. I don't trust people like that because if you manipulated your way into one situation, you'll manipulate your way into certain situations that all benefit you. Like I said earlier, is it his karma? Is it his karma? Is it his comeuppance? What is it? But one thing I do know is that this is just the beginning. I do not think for one moment that it's just a one-off. I think this is about to get bad. Diddy's one of those gatekeepers. One of the gatekeepers. So imagine what happens. Imagine what happens when that gatekeeper can't be there anymore. More importantly, who the fuck is he gonna turn on? Because you know it's coming. Because like I said, only a manipulator. You only keep. Another thing that I want to say is that everybody that supposedly loved Diddy like that and has just been here friend been his friends for 30 some years and been in the industry around this nigga for 30 some years. I haven't heard one person that love that nigga like that been up and down the road with him, been around him all these years. I haven't heard one person yet come out and vehemently deny any of this shit. Outside of maybe his kids. That's it. I haven't heard one person in the industry because you know what the fuck's about to happen. You ain't stupid. You ain't running out here screaming. Like I just said, Meek Mill is out here trying to defend himself right now, and it looks bad. I'm. Sometimes I'm like, yo. Sometimes you just shut the fuck up and let the story play out and don't say nothing. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you might have to defend yourself because it gets to that point. With this situation, I don't know what you do because this is a hard thing to do because this is just the beginning, bro. This is this is the motherfucking beginning. And I do not think people understand how bad this shit is about to be. I really don't think people know because this is not just 30 years. You know how many fucking people Diddy has been around for 30 fucking years in the industry? This is just the tip of the iceberg, man. It's gonna be so many people. I've always felt that this this situation when it first popped off the Cassidy thing, I said, oh, this is just one of many. Because you don't say nothing because y'all done dirt together. I don't know who's gonna get next. Because Diddy can only hold it for so long before he actually has to eventually go into court one time. He can't just bail himself out of it. He's actually going to go on trial. It's coming. And once it do, fuck. Fuck. This Diddy situation is just one of many. I do not believe, like I said, this is the equivalent of what the Harvey Weinstein situation was. It's now just in music. This is one of many. I don't know who gonna get the next one, but from a perspective of a person that really just never liked Diddy and never really fucked with Diddy and never really cared about that nigga like that, always thought he was an asshole as a fan perspective. I'm not shocked. Like I said, my whole childhood I've heard about this nigga. I'm a fan. How the fuck am I supposed? I am a fucking avid listener of music. How the fuck do I know about what you do in your privacy of your career? How am I supposed to? How do I know this shit? Yeah, this is just one of many. My feelings on this, wrapping it all up on point of view rap shit. No matter how big you are, no matter how much money you get, if your ass ain't humble, fuck that. You know what? Scratch that shit. No, no matter how much money you get, no matter how rich you are, how powerful you are, whatever it is, if you fucked over people, you gonna get yours. I'm tired of people being like, "Oh, you gotta be humble and you gotta." No, nigga. Point blank. Period. Don't treat people like you don't want to be treated. That's very fucking simple. Now that might be humble, that might be, but this is a fucking problem. I do not think that Diddy thought that his career will probably end the way it's ending. His legacy will be looked at the way it's looked at now. But he made the bed. Nigga lie in it. Until next time, Brandon Janu, it's point of view random shit. Peace.